Welcome to Selling in the Motor Trade, in association with Automotive Management and symcotraining. This is the weekly podcast where we share best practice, tips and ideas on how to sell more cars, improve your service department, and generally put more profit into your dealership or dealer group. I'm your host, Simon Bowkett, or some of you might already know me as Skippy. And firstly, I want to say thank you for taking the time to tune in. This episode comes directly from our Sales Fitness training program. The particular program is the Selling Cars in the Online World. I hope you pick up some great tips from it. Hi guys, today we're going to talk about motivation and how to get your salespeople back on track when they don't feel like it. What actually motivates your salespeople? Is it money? Do you have salespeople who are coin operated? You might sit there and say, yeah, I was coin operated. Are they really though? Let me challenge that slightly, okay? Imagine you're in my training room, okay? I turn around and say, listen, I really appreciate you coming to this training course today. Because of that, there you go, there's £1,000. Would you feel good about that? Would you be happy to see me next time? Yeah, of course you would. But then I turn around and say to your colleague, thank you very much for coming here. Because of that, there you go, there's £2,000. That money I just gave you before, that £1,000, is that now a motivator or a demotivator? You're right, it's a demotivator. What? I gave you £1,000 and you're upset with me? But that could happen all the time. You see, money is not the motivator in that scenario. In that scenario, why would he be worth double what I'm worth? And so many times I see that same thing happening in car dealerships where salespeople go so upset, not about the money, but actually, why is it one of their colleagues getting a better deal than what they've got? Think about demonstration cars. Isn't quite funny. Recently, I had a guy who was 21 years old. He was a carpenter. He was used to driving a clapped out old Corsa, I think it was. They gave him a brand new Audi A1, taxed, insured, looked after it. 21 years old, driving this lovely new A1. The guy tells a story brilliantly where he loved that car. He took it home and showed his grandparents how proud they were. He went back on the Friday afternoon and spoke to all his mates down at the pub with his lovely new car. He even said he went and washed it. How long did he like that car for? About a week or two. Because then he noticed one of the other trainees that started, they put them in an A3. One of the other salespeople there is driving a Q3. Okay? The other guy there, he's driving a Q5. The boss is actually in an R-line. Okay? How long did he like that piece of crap A1 for? Isn't it amazing how quickly? You see, the privilege very quickly becomes a right. And the same with money. Okay? Yeah, money can be a motivator, but I don't think it's the best one. Tell you a little scenario. When I first started in consultancy, I stuffed up. I had a dealer that I was working with. They said, Simon, in December, you need to help me get to our PCP target, okay? There was a month 13 bonus on. So if they hit this level of PCP sales for the month, they got a retrospective bonus back to January for the whole year. This was in December. He said, this whole visit's all about how to sell PCP. Nothing more, that's all we need to focus on. I said, Steve, you're right, it's focus. How much are you getting paid per each case? He said, good idea. And they were getting paid a big old chunk. So I said, why don't we get the salespeople to focus on it? Let's pay them £200 for every single PCP they sell between now and the end of the year. Okay? Guys, it worked. He even phoned me up end of December and said, Simon, we got there. We're the second best dealer group in the whole group. We've done well. The month 13 bonus kicked in. That was sensational. I patted myself on the back. Everything was brilliant until January. What do you reckon happened to PCP sales in January? Yeah, you're right. They almost stopped. You know what the guys were thinking. Hold on. If you can pay us £200 in December, that's what I'm worth. If you're not going to pay us that, forget it. You see, any privilege very quickly becomes a right, doesn't it? And that's when I was just using money as the motivator. Guys, we've got to look at other things that motivate people. It's not just money. In fact, if you break it down to the raw ingredients, what actually motivates every human being is just two things. Seek pleasure avoid pain. That might be an oversimplification, but guess what? It's probably one of those two. Seek pleasure, avoid pain. Why are you watching this video today? Why are you listening to this in your car driving to work? It'd be one of two things. Number one, it might be avoid pain. My boss said I had to. So what? Tell him to go get lost. Well, actually, then he might tell me to get lost. So what? Well, then he might sack me. So what? Well, then he might avoid paying me. Probably would if he sacked you. So what? Well, then I couldn't pay for the mortgage or the rent. So what? Well, then the landlord or the bank could come and repossess the house. So what? Well, then I'd have nowhere to live. So what? Now, I'm being silly now, obviously, but sometimes people might be watching the training to avoid the pain of the kicking they're going to get afterwards. Or it might be the pleasure of, I'm a senior salesperson. I want to get to the next level. I know that some of you people have asked to go on this program because you want to show willing to get to the next level so you can be the sales manager, so you can get that bigger pay packet, so you can go on those nicer holidays, so you can actually give your children and your family the things that you always wanted to give them. See, it's seek pleasure and avoid pain. They're the two fundamental elements of any motivation. But let me ask you, which one's the better motivation? Seek pleasure or avoid pain? What do you think it is? Yeah, don't we all like to think it's seek pleasure? Don't we all like that? Let me tell you the truth. It's the opposite. I'm going to be silly now for a second, but I could increase the pain. I could almost get you to do anything I wanted. If I'm being stupid now, if I put a gun to your head, I could almost get you to do anything I wanted, because that's extreme pain. But as soon as the pain comes away, what are you going to do? Well, hopefully you'll punch me, okay? Or I could actually increase the pleasure. Here you go. Here's £1 million. Here's £10 million. I could almost get you to do whatever I wanted within reason, right? But you see, with both of those, as soon as you take the pain away or you take the pleasure away, what's going to happen to the act? People are going to do what they want. See, that's because that's external motivation, not internal motivation. Okay? Now back to the pain. Would you work harder today to earn an extra $10? Or would you work harder today to stop me from stealing $10 from you? Which should be the bigger motivator? You know what? For most people, isn't it stop me stealing it? Okay? That's the fear of loss. That's the fear of the pain, the kicking. We might not think it's right, but that's almost the best to get people to do things quickly. Okay? Maybe not consistently, but to start with. That's what it is. Now again, we'd like to think, no, it's pleasure, it lets people want to do it there. So you've got seeking pleasure and avoid pain. But also, if you have a look at this, we've got internal motivation and external motivation. I want you to remember, any external motivation is always temporary. As soon as you remove it, people are going to go back to do what they want. Think about some of the top salespeople you've worked with in the past. Maybe yourself, if you were a top performer there. Is it just money that motivates you? Or was it the internal motivation? Chalking the board. Okay? How many times do you get salespeople come in and they beg you to do a deal that there's no profit in it? They're going to earn stuff all about it, but they still want to get it up on the board there. They want to chalk the board. That's why league tables are some of the best motivation out there. Okay? How many times do your salespeople come in off their day off, the good guys, and they go straight to the board to see who's sold what else on the day? Okay? They're not doing that just because of the money motivation. They compare themselves to other people. They want to prove they're the best they can do. Have a think about sports people, top sports people out there. How often are they competing against themselves? We call it personal best targets. Okay? In fact, think about yourself. Did you play sport at school? Okay? Did you ever win a trophy? Might be football or hockey or soccer. Okay? Did you try really hard to get that trophy? You practiced and trained for it. Were you proud of it? Yeah. When you got that trophy and brought it home, did you show your parents? Did you show your grandparents? Possibly. Hey, where did the trophy go? Yeah, that's right. You put it up there on the mantelpiece, didn't you? If anyone come around, was it pointed out to them? Yeah. You worked your bum off for that trophy. What's it worth? $5, maybe $8. It's not worth a lot, is it? But guess what? You still want it. You worked as hard for that silly little piece of plastic, okay? Because it's the internal motivation. Think about top performers, okay? Years ago, there's a man called Michael Schumacher. You may have heard of him. 7 times world champion in Formula One, okay? He didn't have anything to prove to anyone. He retired, I think it was about 3 years. He come back into the sport. Was he doing that because he didn't have enough money to pay for his electric light bill? Okay? Was he doing it because he's just trying to earn a little bit extra money on the side? Did he do it for external motivation? Or did he do it for internal motivation? Yeah, I reckon he done it for internal motivation. See if I've still got it. Okay? So that's why when we talk about motivation, I urge you to try one thing. With your salespeople, why don't you look at personal best targets? Personal best targets I've seen transform sales departments, and it's as simple as this. Why don't you give your salespeople a one-off bonus whenever they hit their personal best? Okay? For them to get that bonus again next month, guess what they've got to do? They've got to break that personal best again. Could they ever say to you, well, that's not possible? Well, you did it last month. Can they say it's not achievable? Can they have a belief problem with it? That's what sports people do all the time. You get the Olympic athletes, so often they're trying to beat that 1 hour 32, 1 hour 30, 1 hour 29, and they want to keep competing and beating their personal best. That's their first target. In fact, I'm not a golfer. There might be some golfers out there, but golfers tell me so many times they're playing against themselves, not the other person there. Okay? If they just wanted to win the game of golf, it'd be easy to half lie about your handicap, play worse than you want to get a better handicap for the game. But so many times people want to get the lower and lower handicap, they tell me, because you're competing against yourself. So let's have a look at personal best targets. Such a simple thing to do within your business. That's the first bit. Now I've had a bit of a rant here. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how we can use this, seeking pleasure, avoid pain, to take it to the next part of motivation. And I'll speak to you then. That just leaves me to say that all details of this episode and other episodes on the selling in the motor trade can be found on our website, symcotraining.co.uk. Go there to get a copy of our book, Words That Sell Cars. Go there to sign up to a free trial of our Sales Fitness online sales training program. Easiest way to get hold of me is Simon Bowkett through LinkedIn. Thank you.